Hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Show. I'm your host, Richie Leahy, here with my co-host, Matty B. And the off season has been just killer for me because there is nothing that I want to watch. And I thought when I was trying to do show notes, I thought, man, do I want to just complain about TV? Because I sound like an old guy not understanding television. But I just don't feel the need. Like, sports have been something of like an entertainment, non-football sports, like the Olympics, that I should really be into. That the only one that I really cared about at all was hockey. And the only reason I kind of cared is because they had a lot of Michigan players. Larkin and the Hughes brothers that were making major plays. And the one broke his teeth out. Right? He has a bloody flag picture. Did you see that was going around?
Yeah.
And I don't understand the hate. Like, I really don't, where there's like people in the media, like just trying to make it women's versus men's hockey. And we didn't even win the medal count. And it seemed like there were people that were like actively rooting against the United States. They kept propping up that one skier or snowboarder or something that traded like to go play for China. And it's like, cool. Why do I see her every day in like the media when I'm looking for sports ideas for the show? Like, I'm not going to start talking about, I don't care if they were American. Like, nah, we're an American show. We're going to talk about the American teams. I was actually surprised after we won gold. I saw a lot of Canadians were upset about it. And I thought, man, has Canada just been winning? Because they kept saying, like, someone kept posting like 4 in a row. And I thought, like, 4 in a row of what? And it must have been like losses we had to Canada. But I really only care about like the main Olympics, right? I don't care about international friendlies. Half our guys are in the NHL. Like, does that matter? Because I was surprised when I looked at the history that even Canada, I don't think, had won it the last couple times. I thought it was just weird that they're coming around, and I was surprised that we haven't won it, to be honest. It just kind of shocked me because I thought that it was more Canada and United States the entire time, because that's going to be the main two. I know we had like some other ones, but they also did like the international, like in between Olympics or whatever they do. But I don't even think those have a lot of the actual American or NHL players, right? It's weird how they do it. So even this one, I don't know. But it was us. Then last time was Finland. Then Russia. They changed it to the Olympic athletes from Russia. I want to say that was the Ovechkin year, right? Wasn't that like right around when he won his cup? Maybe not. That was 18. And then Canada had won twice. Dude, the United States has only won in that one like Miracle on Ice year. That and like one time in 1960, which kind of shocked me. Now, maybe in women's, it's only been the United States and Canada, which again is odd because of the hype that they put into it. But let's be realistic. I'll probably get hate on this, but the United States is like one of the only countries that really funds women's sports. And honestly, I think that's going to be going away. Right? I mean, Florida State's in negative funding for their athletics. Penn State's in negative funding. I know I got the report on Michigan. We're not really in negative, but because of the revenue sharing type stuff, there's already talks, because I think I don't know if it's a donor, but there's been a push to get Michigan women's hockey because we don't have it. Like, usually the Big Ten is won by like Wisconsin or someone, and maybe Ohio State. And so there's a push because then you can get the extra national championship. I think a lot of the women's hockey players for the like U.S. team were from Michigan, and I don't even think Michigan State has hockey. So if they would want to play college hockey, they have to go out of state. And so there's been a push to at least get Michigan to have it. And the main thing comes down to, if you have to pay all these athletes, I know firsthand from a couple of universities, longtime listeners know that I'm affiliated with some schools, that there's talk that some of these track programs are going to be the first to be cut. And if you think of the Olympics, man, track is one of the ones that really schools were putting up because of the cost being so low. Every high school has a track, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just a piece of land around the school. Typically they put it around the football field, right? Another cost that like funds itself, because football makes money even at the high school level usually. It's like the only one, maybe basketball, maybe wrestling, depending on where you are. But not a lot of high school sports bring in revenue. So you can kind of put them down. But if you had a low cost sport where, hey, yeah, these kids are playing whatever, we're able to bring in our enrollment and help. Because a lot of times, if you're a smaller school, you're kind of just recruiting and getting your name out there for your school by recruiting athletes from local. Like that's going to be your lifeblood. The kids that grow up in your area, they go to your college. And if you're, one of the easiest ways is kind of get athletes from those schools to say, hey, I want to go here. Then their friends are going to try to go with them. And you get like the better, like the applicant pool. If you start cutting out, hey, it was cheap for us, we're just kind of giving you a scholarship, academic. I don't even know if track people could get academic scholarships, right? I know baseball, a lot of it is you're fully funded. Like they only had a couple full rides to give. I would think track is even less because there's so many people out there running. So you get your scholarship, might not be a full ride, half academic, right? Is typically what they do. And now they're saying, well, you have to pay a salary on top of that. So schools were probably already on the losing end of those deals. Now they're going to say, no, we're just going to cut that. Right? Do we need a discus thrower on campus? No. I challenge you, if you're a listener and you're an alum, I know we have a lot of Pennsylvania listeners. If you're like an alum of Penn State or Pitt, can you even name a track star from your college? Right? I think Michigan has the one female, is it Sunderland? I'll probably sound like an idiot. She runs like the 400 or something. She broke a couple records. That's probably the only one that I can name. Right? I know some of the gymnasts, they won the national championship. They played, or they won the Olympics. Like, I can name some of those, but I would say that most fans from schools, you're probably not going to know any of those athletes. That's not being a jerk. That's just saying, like, if you're there at school, yeah, you might know them, right? You might have class with them if you're a teacher or whatever. But if you're just a fan, that stuff I complain all the time about, and that's why I didn't want to bring about the TV thing. But like, a lot of the Olympic sports are shoved on Michigan's MGO Blue or whatever, TV, online, streaming. It's like a YouTube for just sports, and it's usually student run. That's it. Like, how many people are going to tune into that? And even if it's not, it's on like Big Ten Plus. People aren't paying for Big Ten Plus. And if they are, they're usually watching hockey or something. You're not watching track. So that's my problem with like the Olympics. Now, it has to be tough to get people interested in some of these sports. And if you take away the college aspect, man, they're going to be hurting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, do you know, you're a coach, do you know like any kids that do Olympic type sports that really, at the school level, it usually is all travel now, right? The school level doesn't have that type of investment. If you're serious about it, like down here swimming, you go to the travel team and then you get picked up to like the regional team. Like they already know who the good ones are.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think it's a little bit different here just because our weather's so lousy for most of the year that you're not really getting as much like that type of sporting because of the outdoor season. Like just being as cold as what it is, like I feel like that spring sports, like they're technically starting right now here, but everything has to be indoors. I mean, we still are getting snowstorms, so like that bumps a lot of the stuff of the season back and ends up like log jamming some of those like playoff type things till school's practically out.
Well, that's the thing too. I think a lot of colleges have an indoor and outdoor track team. Why? Right? If you have to pay them a salary from your TV contract that is primarily football, right? We're a football show. We're going to be honest about it. You can look up the numbers. Football is the one getting the money. So these schools are, and I mean, honestly, the football administration is not going to be happy about paying how many other athletes that aren't even on TV, right? It would be one thing, like I've been saying, if there was a legit, like when they talk about the ACC network and they tried to set it up, right? Then they never delivered. And now it is kind of like on ESPN. Now it's just kind of like ESPN Plus. But if there was a way to kind of just get that, like, hey, if I could just pay $5 a month for just the ACC network, no blackouts, whatever, you pay for it, you get it. It's not going to be the major games, right? They're going to still be on ESPN. But like if I was a parent and my kid was on like an ACC soccer team or something, there's really no way to watch those games, right? You get them on ESPN Plus, but down here, every game is still like blacked out. Like if my kid would go to NC State or UNC or Duke, that's how many games that they play in the area that are all blacked out for me. Probably Wake too. I don't even know. Maybe even Virginia because they get crazy with it. And there's no way for me to really get it. Otherwise, like I know I've looked into it unless it changed. Because like I was trying to watch some baseball down here when I had that ESPN Plus trial, like I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I try to watch any NC State game. They're blacked out. And the downside is, even if I paid for cable, I can't watch it, right? It's only on the ACC network. No one is putting on NC State baseball like on a regular ESPN. They're just not. Maybe during the tournament. But they black it out. That's a conference decision because they want you to go to the game. And that to me, that's crazy. But now the paying the athlete salary is mainly coming out of the television deal. It has nothing to do with going to the game. It's not ticket revenue. It's specifically carved out for their rights and stuff for television. So having teams that aren't even on there, I think is going to be a total shift. And so I wonder what we'll see, but like having the Olympics on and having what seemed like the media kind of just going and celebrating kind of like against our country is just so weird that it really sucks the life out of it. And honestly, I haven't even seen that many people talk about the Olympics. Every year, I think it goes down more and more. Because it was just a couple years ago, man, we were hanging out watching the Winter Olympics, probably that 18 Ovechkin one or something, maybe even before that. We were talking about having like our own luge team.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I can't even, anyone watching? No, we're not watching the Olympics. And this one wasn't even that bad, right? It was during the day. So if people really wanted to watch, they could watch, even if you just paid for Peacock or whatever.
But I know, like, you brought it up before, and I feel like it kind of hurts when you already know what the results are. Like there's not as much to tune in. So like when they're filming it live, but like they're not showing it simultaneously, like there's always that gap where you're like, oh, this event's coming on at 7:00, which I understand that you want to, for TV purposes, you want to kind of show some of that stuff. But if it doesn't sync to what's going on, then you're like, it's creating that scenario where you're not sure. Like you already know the results, so it's like you have to be wary of what you're doing and what you're watching, so that it doesn't come back and bite you. Like you don't find out ahead of time what's going on.
Yeah, that's the one thing too that Twitter was annoying me with, because now they don't show. At least I couldn't find a way. I thought that you could pay for it, but then they tried to give that trial out, and you still had to pay like $2 or something. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it to see if it works. But now they don't show tweets in chronological order, which really mess it up. Because then now it kind of has mixed in ones where I'm seeing results from like people just not including any context, saying like, "Wow, the United States is looking good right now," and it'll be a random tweet from like 2 days ago, and I'm like, "Are they playing again?" I thought it was over, and then it's like, "Oh, they did win." Okay, well, thanks Twitter for confusing me, and that's made it a lot harder too. There's like no good chronological social media that I've found where you can kind of follow the games anymore. You almost have to do a search and then sort by latest. Like you can't just have a timeline feed like I used to of like a lot of the teams I liked. It almost makes me want to unfollow them. Right? Because I don't need to see a recap from the Celtics game 3 days ago. Like I don't care. I don't care how many likes it has, man. I'm just going to unfollow. Like the entire purpose for me liking Twitter was because it was almost like a news feed. If you're mixing in things from 3 days ago, I don't care. Like I find myself using it less and less, and there's no good alternative that I've found anyway. Right? You can go to like some of those new crazy social medias that they have out there, like your own feed, like the, was it Mastodon or something? I don't know if that's what the actual thing is called. Might be called like the Fediverse or something. Cause we had, I think I had our podcast looked into that before, cause it was supposed to be just like a feed that anyone downloading the show, you could use whatever app you want and get the updates immediately. Awesome. Right. You can use your own app if you wanted to make one, or just use any of the million apps that are out there. But the problem is no one is using it. So again, you're not getting the most up to date. You have to wait for someone to like publish an article and have it show up in your feed. And even the major ESPN, their articles are like a total mess on here. So if I go to the Olympics home, it's talking about Jack Hughes, right? His flag picture with the teeth. And then the next article that would pop up is a U.S. basketball for 2028 Olympics. Nothing about like, where's the rest of the recaps? Right? Then another article. So out of the top 3 articles, 2 of them are about basketball. Insane. Insane on USA's part. Or ESPN's part, I guess. Right? I just don't get it, right? I just really don't get the coverage. Now, then you scroll down and then they have more. So like you're getting into some of them, but they're not even recaps again. So out of the top 5, actually you have one's a recap, 2 basketball, and then a hockey team prediction for 2030, and then a French Alps prediction for skiing for 2030. How and why? Right? I just don't get it. So anyone that's like an Olympic fan, it just ended like on Sunday, I think. Norway won the entire thing. There's no good way to get that information. And now a lot of these too, like even sports, it's so, some of these games, like if you're a fan of a basketball or a baseball team and hockey, they have games like every day. So if you're getting like a couple day old tweets about like one thing that really has annoyed me lately, and I don't know if I have a good example, is like during the game, a player will get banged up. They find out he's fine, right? He comes back in the second half. But then everyone's retweeting that initial injury tweet. And then you see it 2 days later and you're like, is he still hurt? Like that's going to ruin, if that continues for football, that's going to annoy the crap out of me. I don't know if they just shifted recently, but I've been noticing a lot more old tweets showing up for me. It's making it hard for me to do because that's normally where I get a lot of my fantasy stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Well, what's the point, man? I need a source that just gives me info in chronological order. That's all I ask. Let's see. That's all I had for the Olympics. Is there anything you want to talk about this week? I don't have anything for the NFL, to be honest.
Yeah, I really didn't see a whole lot other than our Olympic stuff.
Now, I did see that they're still fighting over the tush push, and this is where my other annoyance comes in. UFL announces, hey, we're going to ban it, and we're also going to ban punts inside the 50. Did you see that? And then,
yeah, but I mean, I feel like you almost get away with it there because it gives the NFL a sound place to test some of that stuff just to see exactly how it's going to work. So like you saw that they toyed with the punt or the kickoff scenario, and it was helpful. Like it brought that change to the NFL.
And there's one other thing too. There were three things. I can only remember two though. One was the kickoff, or one was the punts. One, I think it had to do with kickoffs, but I don't remember what the actual thing was. And then the other one was the tush push. They're banning it. They want to try to go more offense. And I thought, oh, this is great, right? Their season should be starting. No, end of March. And I thought, man, this is the perfect time right now. Olympics just ended. College basketball's on, but that's still a ref show. Right? I wasn't going to really mention it because I don't know about people thinking it's sour grapes because Michigan lost. I've been on this all year. I don't care about the regular season. I really don't care about a non-conference game in February? Right, against two top teams that came down to the wire. Yeah, there were some weird fouls. Like if you have a 7'6" dude and he's in foul trouble 10 minutes into the game, that 100% alters the game. Right? Could that mess with Michigan in the tournament? Yeah, it could. If someone comes in and fouls our guy out, I've seen it happen. Michigan gets guys in foul trouble. My bigger worry is that a lot of fans are really into Michigan's old strength and conditioning coach for basketball, but every time we had a team that looked this good, we always had one major guy get injured. Mitch McGary, Isaiah Livers that one year, and then Karis LeVert. Every time, every year. And it's like, oh, then Michigan would be like runners up then. And it's like, man, if only they would have stayed healthy. They had that one other guy, they probably would have won the national championship. And it hasn't happened. So now I'm just worried. I'm talking about like the injury thing I brought up earlier. Now I'm just worried that Michigan's going to have a guy go down. Right? When the team looks like, man, they just battled Duke. This team could really turn it around and win the national championship. It could be awesome. But I watch a game, man, and there's just so many whistles that just don't make sense. There was one I saw, I don't know what the game was from, where a guy got like absolutely clocked and all the players stopped playing because they thought it was a foul and the refs let him play it on. I don't know if it was that Michigan game or not, but I thought, how? Right? How are they just that bad? So I can't watch. I want football to be back. UFL, you let me down. You're going to come back right in the middle of combine and all this other stuff. And I know they probably have a reason, but I mean, you're going into the end of school when, like you talked about, right now, weather's bad, right? You're stuck at home. What are you watching? Nothing, because I know nothing's on. It would have been the perfect time. Putting the games on in the championship in like early June or whenever they have it, like end of May, that's horrible. That's when kids are getting out of high school. NBA and NHL playoffs are in full swing. I think right now, I had talked before about maybe trying to have it around the NCAA tournament, but I honestly think if they would move it up and have the championship weekend somewhere around the draft, heck, even have it after the draft, right? When's that Saturday draft end? Is it like noon to 5 or something like that? I don't think it goes all night again.
Yeah.
What would be the difference if they had the NFL draft final day lead into the UFL championship game? That's peak football. People have watched highlights for 3 days in a row, right? Watch like guys like have weird videos with their families, and they're all they're thinking is, man, I wish there was a game on right now, and you could give it to them, or at least the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, the weather has got me down because I haven't talked about working out lately, right? I was in that accident, was injured a little bit, haven't been able to run, and now I'm still on track. Well, I'm not even on track. I'm still going to try to go ahead and run my first marathon here in a couple weeks. And I anticipate it is going to be brutal, right? It's going to be like Rocky 1, dude. All I want to do is make it to the end. Because I've been running distance now on the weekend. The one thing that I have, and I don't even know if I talked about this, but I have like an indoor cycle, right? I wanted a bicycle thing because I wanted to do low impact. I like running outside. I don't like running on a treadmill. That's just not me. I don't mind riding a bike, right? Because you can really feel it in your quads. And I feel like it's pumping my legs up to where they're pretty muscular now because I've been doing it for a few months. But it's different muscles. Like if I bike, I could bike for like an hour and my legs will be sore, whatever. But then if I run outside, biking definitely does not use your entire body like running does. Because like you run hard, let's say you go run sprints for like 20 minutes. I bet your like arms and like upper shoulders and stuff will be sore the next day, unless you're like actively running. I would assume a lot of listeners to the show, looking at our demographics, are older dudes. I bet they're not running around.
Well, they're not doing sprints because sprints are like the least enjoyable cardio that you can do.
That's why sprints on a bicycle aren't bad. So if you're older, I recommend it. Like you can hit, because that's the one thing that I enjoyed, or that I noticed like doing distance, was it's not really my lungs that have been failing me, right? When I'm going out, like getting up to like 16, 18, like mile mark, it hasn't really been my lungs that have been shutting down. It's more just like my legs just can't carry me anymore. And it's like almost having that intensity is different. Like riding for an hour or two on a bike is just different for people that like, if you can't really do the jogging, yeah, biking is great. I haven't had it. It has taken a while for me to build up because like I think my feet were like getting like, there are weird muscles in your feet from sitting on the pedals the whole time that would like cramp up like almost the middle of my foot. And that really hasn't been happening anymore, biking longer distances. I'm assuming if I stop like for a few weeks or a month, like then it would probably come back because there must be muscles in there that the bike works that you like running doesn't. But even like your shins, like you always talk about like your shin splints and stuff, you don't work those on a bike. Right? Lifting your feet up is just a different beast out there running.
Yeah.
It's too cold to run though. Have you been running outside?
Yeah.
How long do you run?
As fast as I can try to get done with it.
Yeah, but what distance are you running?
Like it's the same 2 and change.
Because I told you this off the show, but I ran 7 the one day. It was like 20 or something degrees out. And I was going to run 14 because I thought I need to run like a half marathon. And I was trying to map out a path through my area to see what distance I could get if I can get a regular route that I could run like maybe 2 or 3 times to try to get up to the marathon distance. I think I found one that I have to run 4 times, but this is my first time. So I thought if I can get 2 in, I'll be a little bit over half marathon. And it was so cold. And I even had sweats. I was bundled up that I couldn't feel my extremities. Like they almost felt like I had frostbite. And so I thought, well, I'm not in pain or sore or anything. And I'm still trying to just do my pace. Right. And so I thought just slow jog. Like I'm not doing anything crazy, like 10-minute miles. Right. And typically if I run harder, like I don't really go more between like 7 and 8 is what like I would, if I'm pushing myself to run, but like if I'm running distance, I don't even try to do that because I don't want to die. And I'm like, feeling good. I'm like, I can hit this. Right. And I was so cold that I thought I should just stop because I don't want to hurt myself. And then it took me a good hour, like bundled up to where I thought like, do I have to take a warm bath to get back into it? Cause I had one of the scarf things on. And I almost thought like, I think I have a Steelers scarf somewhere around here, like an actual scarf. I don't know where it is, but I thought like, should I have run with that? Because normally there's a ton of people on the trail where I run. There were only 2 other people out there. And as I was running back, because I'm like, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to stop, I think at 7. And I was like, dude, it's too cool to be out here. Turn around. That's what I told them because they were coming down when I was getting out. I'm like, whoa. The wind chill, I think, is what did it. Because it was like you're running into the wind and there's not a lot of coverage, right? You get like the row of trees, but it's a path. So it's like kind of cleared out. That I don't know. But I think that's my downfall right now is this race is in like March or something. And so I'm not going to have a lot of outdoor miles getting up to this one. And because I couldn't run because of doctor's orders in December, man, I'm like, have like two months of training in. It's going to be bad. But I'll see how it goes. I'll keep people posted just to see. Like I said, I just want to make it through. If I can run at my pace, like what was I saying? Like even if I didn't do a full 10-minute mile and I got like the first half done in 2.5 hours, I think. Because I was faster than that when I ran the half in the fall. And I thought, man, even if I had to walk the back half, I could probably still finish. Because they do give you like a long time. I feel like I say that now and then like I won't make the distance, right? That guy was so close. He was so close to making it. But I don't know. I've never done it. And I have people ask, because I get this question a lot. It's like, why did you do it? And honestly, there's some studies that say like if you can run like distance, it's a different strain on your body. And people that do it, even if they only do it like once or twice a month, they end up like living longer and they're healthier. And like their knees are better, right? How many people do you know have like hip replacements or knee replacements? I don't want that. So
the only issue with running that I have is that I've noticed everything just is tighter in my leg. Like there's definitely a marked less flexibility the more that I've been running, and it's like, do you just have to just bite the bullet and just go with like a straight yoga style complementary work?
Well, that's what I've been trying to do. And I noticed that if you do yoga, at least when I run and do yoga, I feel like it's a power move almost where, what's that guy, Rodney Yee or something? He used to have like these power yoga like that athletes would do. Back when I was growing up, I know a lot of people had them, like the same DVD, where it was more like stretching, but he was doing more like the dynamic stuff, like push-upping into other positions, right? And so you're kind of doing that full body, almost like, what the heck are those? Not like burpees, but like those other military swan dive push-ups. I forget what the hell they're called. You probably know. But like doing that a bunch of times into just some lower stretching Because like I've never really been able to stretch. And that's why I'm not really able to, like, I'm not really trying to run for speed. If I wanted to run like hard, I could probably still run. Like it's just going to be a different beast. But to me, it's more of like a lifetime. I don't want to be in the position, because honestly, I'm not even that old, man, in my 30s. And I continually see people that I went to like high school with dying. Right.
Yeah.
I know a handful of them already. And it's like, man, that's brutal. Right. Even people younger than me. And I think if there's anything I can do, even if it's just like running, I don't care how brutal it is. I do mix in sprints. I try to do it at least once a week. Hard. On my watch, like I'll look at like some of the speeds to see, because I joked with you that the one time my speeds were saying that I was getting up to like 20 miles an hour. And that's kind of like what the NFL players run, right? It's like, dude, if I can hit that on my GPS watch, that's pretty funny, right? I don't know what my time would be. I'm not like laser timing myself, but at least to the point where you can move fast. Because I watch some of these like journos run like at the NFL combine, and they look like they've never run in their life. Like if they were walking home and a dog was loose chasing them, they would immediately be run down. Like they have no life skill to like get out of danger. Right. And that's the one thing, like, I have people talking about playing, I'm going to plan on playing softball again. It might mess up some of our podcast schedule like last time. And I thought, like, do you do it? Right? If my schedule can make it, why not? It's a different set of muscles, even from running. There's a lot of twisting that comes into it. So maybe doing like some of the yoga stuff. I think like doing Olympic lifts help out a lot more. But some people, they just don't do it. And it's different than being hardcore into like working out and making it your entire personality. But honestly, I'd rather be that than getting sick like I see other people my age, which to me is just like, if you can do anything to avoid that, do it. That's my motto. I don't want to be the guy that can't get up a set of stairs, right? Even if it's bad. I've been trying to eat healthier too. And one thing I got that I wanted to bring up on the show, and I just haven't, because football was going crazy this year, with Indiana pulling up off one of like the most historic runs of all time. But I got like an indoor garden, because I think that's the missing piece that I haven't had, that in the summer, typically, like with the colder weather, I feel like my body wants to eat more. I can feel it wanting to eat more, and it feels like it stores like food faster than in the summer, where it just seems like it burns off. So you like go on like that up and down, and having one of the colder winters that we've had has not been helping. So instead, to get ready for that, I got an indoor garden just to grow salad stuff. So I got a bunch of different lettuce, kale, that type of stuff, spinach, that are supposed to be like perpetual. Because in my mind, perpetual means that as long as I keep trimming the roots, it's actually watering itself right now, if you can hear it in the background. But if you keep trimming the roots and harvesting it, I'm hoping that it just goes like year round. And then that would be enough for me to have a healthy lunch every day and not have to worry about that. Having that extra bill and like that, I guess that temptation, right?
Yeah.
People go out and they're like, yeah, I need something for lunch. And I know not everyone has the luxury of just having their own, making their own lunch, like for like bringing a salad or whatever. Because the one thing that, if you're into like making it a steak salad or a chicken salad, then you would still have to buy your meat and prepare that. But I've been trying to go full, I guess, vegan for it, right? I don't know what else to call it. And that's an embarrassing term for me anyway. But during the day, almost like a warrior diet thing where you're only eating the salad and like nuts and berries or whatever. Because I have a ton of like raisin trail mix stuff that like my kids had from school that they got from like a summer program last year that they did not like. And it's almost like the salad topping packs that you get. So I had like a gigantic box of that I've been using. And it's been great. Because I don't want to say picking. You harvest your stuff. I don't know what you do. You're cutting it, right? I don't know. I'm not a salad guy. I'm not a harvester or a plant guy. But that's the thing. I'll keep you guys updated because that's going to be my off season. Seeing if that really makes a difference. And then, of course, trying to get in shape. Because right now, doing the longer distances, I am exhausted. Like, I'm not going to lie. I probably look like I'm going to fall asleep right now. Because doing that and then not having like extra time, like taking time off work to sleep longer is more ridiculous. But I'm hoping that in the summer it'll balance out. Because my goal is, they said, I think the research said that as long as you did like distance of like 3 to 4 hours. So I'm not trying to do anything crazy, but at least once a month, I want to try to do one longer workout run. 3 to 4 hours. Right. Then during the regular week, I'll just do my regular workout, half hour to an hour, whatever I'm doing, lifting weights, do my boxing workout, that type of thing. And then, like I said, maybe every other Saturday, I'll do a longer run and I try to add distance to it. Because if I can get the marathon down to under 4 hours, I think that would be my first goal. I think Boston Marathon's like 3 hour qualifier, and that's what old people do that all the time, right? I'm starting late and I'm not in great shape, so.
And I just learned this as far as those qualifiers, that sometimes what ends up happening is that they'll adjust the times depending on how the finishes are going. Like if so many people are finishing super fast, then they adjust their cutoff time. So it may even be faster depending on who else is finishing.
Yeah, and I'm just using that as a rule of thumb for me personally. Like I'm not planning on winning any races at my age. Maybe if like I'm older and I don't have any family responsibilities, right, and I have stuff like, I need a hobby, I could put more time into it. But right now, this is all for health. I figure if you're able to run that distance that fast, you're probably going to be in better shape than someone that can't. So if the cutoff time as a rule of thumb is 3 hours, first would be to see if I can get under 5 hours, then 4.5, then 4 hours, right? I already know that I can get under probably 5 based on my half marathon, right? Because I'd have to get the half marathon fully under 2 hours first. Then I'd have to try to get that down to an hour and a half. So typically, if you can get that down, then you're running shorter each day. You're just running longer. Like if I go out and run a 5K and I'm under whatever 20 minutes, that's a lot faster than running it in like 25 or 30 minutes, you know? So you're able to add either more distance or more time each week. Because then my motivator, right, is that if you get in shape to run that fast, then you don't have to work out as hard every day. Right? Because if I run a quick mile and I know that's going to take me, if I push myself to get it done in like 7 to 8 minutes, that's quick. Right? Because they always have those books that are like, hey, do the 7-minute workout or whatever. Just go run a mile in that fast. And if you get even faster than that, down to 6 minutes, then you're cooking. But I haven't made it that far yet. We'll see. Well, I'm going to start focusing on times. I'll talk about it more on the show. That'll be like my ender. But those are my updates. Haven't talked about it for a while just because we had so much other sports stuff going on. Is there anything else you want to talk about this week?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
So hopefully we get some warmer weather. I will say the going outdoor thing, because you said you're running outside, people that are like getting the winter blues, going outside, especially even if it's cold and the sun's out, man, it does cheer you up. I will say that. I've been recommended to people that are telling me they're like depressed friends and stuff, go outside for a run. Even if you don't run, just go for a walk. Yeah, you might need to be bundled up. But if you get outside and it's sunny, go to the park, go do something, right? Go to a game outdoors. They're still going to have like probably high school baseball, even if it's not the best weather. Go out, watch a softball game, baseball game, get some fresh air. I'm telling you, it'll make a difference. But if you have any tips or anything, let me know. Anything you want us to talk about. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.